Alright, I wanted to talk about the calcium reactor, the tuning bit, because the last video I did it without the carbon dioxide tank. So now I have the tank. It's been a week. I plugged it into the calcium reactor. So I've adjusted the bubble count. It's about 60 um, bubbles a minute at the regulator, and that translates into a slightly lower bubble count at the reactor. And I have the FX STP pump, which is pushing or pulling 20 ml a minute into the sump. So I'm trying to tune this in. I'm using the Apex for that. Watching the pH. Right now the pH is around 6.7, and at 20 ml per minute, I'm getting about 20 DKH, which is, I think, slightly lower than what my tank consumes. I think the tank consumes about 1.5 DKH per day, and so I'm just going to watch and keep tuning. Again, there are many ways to tune this, and what I did was I kept the bubble count low. Initially, it was like very low. Started around, I think, 30 bubbles per minute, and then watched the pH. And once the kind of pH settles down, it will settle, at if it settles around 7, then you want to see what the output DKH is, and you want to see if that satisfies your alkalinity requirements. Otherwise, you want to just increase the bubble a little bit, bubble count a little bit, and see where the pH settles. And if it settles at 6.8, then you want to then run it for 24 hours, test the output alkalinity, and see where it gets to. The one thing I've noticed is there is not too much of an impact on the output alkalinity, or how much alkalinity is there in the effluent by increasing or decreasing the flow in the pump, effluent flow. So I think I'm gonna rather keep it like constant. Of course, the thing is, if you reduce the effluent flow, then that has a slight impact on the pH inside the reactor, because then you're allowing more time for the carbon dioxide to work with the media, and that will lower the pH slightly, a little bit. So there is an impact if you kind of change your flow on the effluent. But the output alkalinity, I haven't seen too much, although the pH goes down a little bit. So I've tried to keep the effluent levels kind of around the 20, and just get to an ideal bubble count on the regulator. So this is what I'm doing. It's kind of working well, but still tuning. It's been a week. Yeah, I just want to kind of put that out there. And one thing is, if you want to know how to measure the output alkalinity that's being dumped for every change, so you just measure the output from the effluent. So if it's 20 DKH, and your tank usually runs at like 8 DKH, so that is which means the effluent is adding 12 DKH more per minute, right? So multiply that with the flow rate. So if it's 20 mil per minute, so that's about 1.2 mil, 1.2 liters. So that's 1200 mil a minute, which is 1.2 liters an hour, right? So you want to multiply 1.2 with 12 and then with 24 and then divide that by the total volume of the tank, which will give you the alkalinity that is being added per day by your calcium reactor. So that calculation is pretty useful. So yeah, that's about it. I'll keep you guys posted how this goes. Thank you.